we got the triangle angle sum theorem. Well, that's kind of tough to say. Triangle angle sum theorem. Well, I think we all know this already. The sum of the measures in a triangle of the angles adds up to 180. So if I added up measure of angle A and B and C, they would equal 180. So all three angles would add up to 180 in triangles. We're going to use some of that information here. So first things first, some sort of picture. Let's use that, what we just learned. Find the measure of each numbered angle. Well, if I look, what one can I find first? 1, 2, or 3? Well, of course, number 1, because I know these two other guys right here, 43 and 74, and I know triangles add up to 180. So to find the measure of angle 1, I got to add up that 43 plus the 74 and subtract it from 180. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add those two first, and I end up with 117. And we subtract it from 180 to give us 63 degrees. So measure of 1 is 63 degrees. Well, if I notice, 1 and 2 are vertical. And what do we remember about vertical angles? They are congruent. So there we go. Measure of angle 2 is also 63 degrees. And then if I notice, now I'm in another triangle. So if this is 63 and this is 79, I can subtract those two from 180 to get angle 3. So to get measure of angle 3, we add the other two, the 79 plus the 63, and we subtract that from 180. And so when we add those two, we end up with 142. So measure of angle 3 equals 38 degrees. So there are my three answers. Angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3, using information that we know. Very nice. Okay, something that's a little new, but it should make sense. The exterior angle theorem. Well, first of all, an exterior angle is the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle. Well, let's show where it's at. If I just extend a line from any side on a triangle, we have an exterior angle. So I extended that bottom line, that CB line, and that would give me an exterior angle. That angle is going to equal the sum of the remote interior angles, the two remote interior angles. Well, my two remote interior angles are A and B. Remote interior, we call those. Okay, they're away from the exterior. And if I think about this, angle 1 and this angle right here, angle ACB, don't those add up to 180? Well, in this green angle, along with these two blue ones, don't those all add up to 180? So if I think about this, 1 should equal A and B, right? Because they both add up to that green one to get 180. So let's think about that. So measure of angle 1 plus that green one, which is angle ACB, that equals 180, doesn't it? And then if I think about this, that same angle, that measure of angle ACB plus the two blue ones, angle A plus the measure of angle B, those also equal 180. So there we go. These are the same, which means these two have to be equal, don't they? So the exterior is equal to the remote interior, the two remote interior. That should make sense there, transitive property style. Or substitution in a way as well. Find the measure of FLW in the fenced flower garden shown. All right, I know it's just a triangle, but let's pretend it's a flower garden. So we have an exterior angle, right? I extended this line of the triangle. So here's my exterior angle. And we know we can set that equal to the two remote interior angles. That's our new theory we just learned. So I can say 2x minus 48 equals x plus 32. And to solve, get our variable to one side, and then bring everything else to the other side. So I'm left with just 1x. We don't write the 1 though. That's gone. Equals, that's gone. And through 80. And is that all I need? It says find the measure of FLW, right? Just like we said the other day. Always go back and see what you're trying to find. FLW. I should probably put some letters in here. I think I was trying to find this one. So FLW would be this angle right here, right? FLW. Well, if I know that this X is 80 now, triangles add up to 180 total. So to find FLW, we got to subtract that 80 plus 32 from 180 to find it. So the measure of angle FLW equals, well, this guy is 112, so we got 78 degrees. Okay, so always go back and check. That's going to be the story throughout the year. Okay, you're going to solve for a variable, and you're probably going to plug it back in to find something else. So don't forget to do that. Holy buckets. Now it gets a little confusing here. Find the measure of each numbered angle. Got a lot of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and write all my angle measures. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5. Okay. Let's see which one I can find first. I got to try to find some triangles here. Let's see, I got that 48, 41, 34. I got a couple 90s in there. Oh, here we go. I know this is 41. I know this is 90. I should be able to find 5. So I could add the 90 and 41 together and subtract that from 180. Well, 90 plus 41 gives me 131. So this guy equals 49 degrees. There we go. We got 1 so far. I'm gonna go write that in my triangle here. So I found this to be 49. That might help me out. Okay, what else do we know? What's gonna help us here? Well, if this is 90, isn't this other side 90? So I could find measure of angle 3, just subtract 48 from 90. So 90 minus 48 gives me 32 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and write that in there so I can see it. So that's 32. Okay, now what else could I find if that's 32? Well, it's getting a little tougher now. If I think about this, here's a triangle. I know that I have 32, and I know that I have 90, which means I could find the measure of angle 4. Add that 90 and 32 and subtract it from 180. When I add 90 and 32, I'll just write that here. I get 122. So 180 minus 122 gives me 58 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and write that in there now. So angle 4 is 58 degrees. Well, that should help me out. I should be able to find measure of angle 2 now. Because this guy's 34, and it makes a right angle with the one next to it. So those are complementary, so I know that they add up to 90. So this has to be 56, because 56 plus 34 is 90. And then I have 56 and 58. I can subtract those from 180 to get angle 2. Well, some of this is hard to visualize. It just takes a little bit, though. And we add those together, and we get 114. And 180 minus 114 gives us 66 degrees. So that's measure of angle 2 there. And lastly, now I can find angle 1. Because angle 2 is 66. And these guys make a straight line. 2 and angle 1. So I know that they add up to 180. So I can subtract 66 from 180. Which gives me 114 degrees. So I got all my answers. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5. Well, it took some work though, right? You just got to go step by step. Find an angle that you can find. Use that to find another angle. Sometimes you got to use bigger triangles or smaller triangles. It takes a little bit of work. Just be patient and just keep looking. And lastly, a couple of corollaries. Well, a corollary is kind of like a theorem. It's a theorem with a proof that follows as a direct result of another theorem. Well, we had the triangle angle sum theorem. So here's some corollaries based off that. If I have a right angle, I know that the other acute angles have to be complementary, right? Because if I have that right angle, these two guys would have to add up to 90 degrees to give me a total of 180. So that should make sense. And there can be at least, or at most, one right angle or one obtuse angle in a triangle, one or the other. Can't have two right angles or two obtuse because then it's more than 180. Wouldn't make any sense. And we'll use those eventually. But there you go. Get after it.